let's discuss the state of play, okay? And as we do only here on NewsNation, we have members of Congress, right and left, who come together to have a reasonable conversation. California, Democrat, member of Congress, Representative Berra, and Georgia, Republican, member of Congress, Representative McCormick. Doc, thank you for being here. Ami, thank you for being with me. Doc, help me understand something. What is going on with the release movement? I heard that this bill was being held up because Republicans want to vote on releasing the Epstein files, which I don't know that you guys can force the executive to do, by the way. But then I also heard that Republicans voted not to go with Ro Khanna and Massey's bill to release the Epstein files. Like, well, what's going on, Doc?
Which doctor do you want? We're both doctors.
Oh, are you both doctors? I didn't know that. Dr. McCormick. I'm sorry.
Doctor.
Doctor McCormick, what is your answer?
It's funny. We actually just ran into each other on the street getting meals right before we came on air. We were talking about this live with each other, and actually the way we talk behind the cameras, we get along very well anyways. But the reality of this is we don't know whatever the president knows. It's kind of mysterious. This is a populist thing. I think about 99% of America wants to know what's in those files. And that's what kind of confounds everybody, because Trump is by and large a populist. I think there's word out there that there is a reason that some of this stuff shouldn't be released, but that's only known to the presidency, and maybe it was known to the Biden administration too. I have no idea why. It's interesting you talked about your father recently. I had to smile because I thought about that Reagan era where you had a guy who at the end of his presidency had won by 12.5%, won almost all 50 states because of messaging. He understood that sweet spot of winning people over and painting a picture that everybody could buy into because it didn't come across as partisan. This doesn't seem like a partisan issue to me. And I'd be very curious to see how long-term it develops, because most of us in Congress agree with the people. And I think the people want to see the files.
Oh, look, I think they want to see the files, Dr. Berra. But I also think that this is an insider issue. This is a pod bros issue. This is about false promises. This isn't going to make it easier for people to save for college or to get their kids, started in a business or deal with any of the things that they're really worried about. Why would the Democrats want to focus on Epstein?
I mean, this isn't what the campaign's going to be on in 2026. This is a moment in time. It astounds me that the president just won't release the evidence or whatever they have in the files. Protect the victims, obviously. And I think that's all folks are saying. He could easily kill this story right now.
Yeah, but here's my problem with you guys. I had Ro Khanna on last night. It was really funny. O'Reilly thought his name was Mo Rocca and thought he was Italian. Talk about a generation gap. So Ro Khanna was on last night. And the question to him was, look, I get it. I don't think you guys can force the executive to release files. But let's put that to the side. Where were you? Where were you during the Biden administration if you give such a, if you care so much about the Epstein files? Why didn't you guys ask to put them out?
Yeah, I've never actually talked about the Epstein files until recently when it looked like they were trying to hide something. So, yeah, if there was evidence there of folks that were pedophiles, Joe Biden should have released them. I bet there could be damning evidence against both Democrats and Republicans. Again, I don't know. It's not what the country cares about. What they care about is, can I put food on the table? Can I pay my mortgage? Can my kids go to college one day? Can I retire one day? Can mom and dad have good health care when they're old?
Can I add one thing to that, which I think is
sure, Doc.
When you look at this topic, I think the one thing that people do care about is they don't want to see hundreds of young ladies child trafficked, and then because you're so powerful or so wealthy, you can be in an aristocracy that can get away with breaking the law and not being held accountable. I think Americans actually really do care about that. And that actually is germane to the way our government was set up to be blind in justice. And I think that's where we don't want to be a tale of two cities, as your father put it, where if you're rich enough and powerful enough, you can get away with something that nobody else can, that you're not accountable. We've talked for years about how all the Clintons, they didn't get investigated. They could get away with murder. They could, break files. They could hide files. That has to apply to both sides. This is not a partisan issue. This is about people in the civilian believing that they're equal with any billionaire in America because this is America.
I agree with Rich.
Listen, Yeah, listen, I mean, look, it's easy to say. I want to see somebody raise their hand and say, not me, I'm pro-pedophile. Look, I get it. Nobody wants to see kids human trafficked. You just got to understand, from my perspective, if you really care about human trafficking, not you two guys, but I'm saying if we were going to have this kind of scale of fascination with this issue, there are minority kids that go missing and put on the track every night all over this country, and all we've changed is our vocabulary. It's not called prostitution. They're not pimps. They're traffickers now, and prostitution is human trafficking. But we haven't done anything to stop the cycle of it, especially when it affects minority kids. But all of a sudden, when it's Epstein, everybody cares. Here's something that I do think the majority cares about. So after all this drama we dealt with Doge and Musk and all this other stuff, this rescission package is like a fraction of what they promised, and it looks like it may not even get through. How? How did this happen?
Yeah, well, first of all, you're right. It's a pittance. And we have to take a hard look in the mirror and say, what is the government actually responsible for? If we're going to have a hard decision about this $37 trillion of debt and the $3 trillion of deficit spending per year, a $9 billion cut to public funding of a TV station that can be funded by, look, Big Bird can get sponsorship. It's only 4% reliant on us to begin with. I think Big Bird can get his own sponsors. And if your business model is reliant on government spending to make a profit, you're in trouble anyways. And I think if we don't have a realistic conversation about the smallest cuts, we're in really big trouble when we have a bipartisan effort to address things like the biggest spending issues in America, which is Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, things that we are going to have to work together as in bipartisan ways to solve, or we're done as a country the way we know it.
Listen, I'll take that concept and I'll dish it over to you, the other doctor, Dr. Bira, for a last point on this. And I would suggest that you deal with the deep pocket that Dr. McCormick didn't address, the Defense Department. Why are we talking about Big Bird when the one deep pocket that fails every review of its spending got added money in this budget when we're supposed to be worried about the debt? Why don't the Democrats go all in on paring down the DOD, Dr. Bera?
I'm with you, Chris. I mean, foreign aid is less than 1% of the budget.
Yeah.
What I would say to my good friend, Dr. McCormick, is we can do this, but it's going to take a debt commission like the Simpson-Bowles Commission, which I'll criticize President Obama. They came up with recommendations that were going to be tough for both sides. It's going to take a Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid moment where we're both going to have to jump off the cliff together. That means tax increases on the wealthiest Americans. That also means changes to Medicaid or Medicare and Social Security on the Democratic side. If we want to do this for our kids and grandkids, we're both going to have to hold hands, jump off the cliff, and people are going to be pissed at us, but our kids and grandkids will be grateful that we did it for them.
Amir, what kind of doctor are you?
Internal medicine.
And so are you, right, Rich?
No, I'm emergency medicine, just a few steps up on the ladder.
Uh-oh. All right, I'll leave it at that.
Totally kidding.
Doctors, doctor, thank you very much. I appreciate you both being here together and having a reasonable conversation about where we are and where we go. Thank you, fellas.